Imagine a love so powerful, it defies even the storms of hell itself. Inferno, Dante's journey through the circles of the damned, pauses for a moment in the second circle of hell to reveal the story of two lovers, Paolo and Francesca, caught in an eternal tempest. Their story is one of passion, betrayal, and damnation, and as Dante sees them, we too feel both compassion and horror. But what makes their love so unforgettable? What is it about Paolo and Francesca's forbidden love that leaves an impression even in hell? As Dante and his guide, Virgil, descend through the circles, they arrive at the second level, reserved for those ruled by lust. Here, amidst cries and furious winds, they encounter the souls tossed about by an eternal storm. This is the punishment for those who allowed passion to overcome reason. This whirlwind of lovers, including Paolo and Francesca, represents their desires sweeping them away, just as Dante describes in his chilling line, the infernal storm that never rests. It's here that Dante first spots Paolo and Francesca, and he's compelled to speak with them. Francesca's voice reaches him first, delicate yet dignified, as she recounts their tragic tale. Francesca begins with a voice heavy with sorrow, love, which absolves none who are loved from loving. It was this love that bound her to Paolo, her husband's brother. As they read the story of Lancelot and Guinevere together, two lovers also bound by forbidden passion, their own love was sparked. Paolo, entranced, looked up from the pages to meet Francesca's gaze, and they shared their first kiss. That day we read no further, Francesca laments, and we feel the weight of that kiss. It was a moment that, even in hell, burns brighter than any flame around them. Their love, however, was discovered. Francesca's husband, Giovanni, in a fit of rage, took both their lives. Yet even in the afterlife, Paolo and Francesca remained together, holding to each other as they're swept through hell's eternal storm. For Francesca, hell is bearable only because of Paolo's presence by her side. This tale of lovers, cursed yet united, has inspired art through the ages. Perhaps most famously, Auguste Rodin's sculpture The Kiss immortalizes Paolo and Francesca's forbidden passion. Originally created as part of Rodin's larger work, The Gates of Hell, The Kiss was isolated because of its overwhelming beauty and intimacy. The two figures appear to be in their own world, lost in that same kiss which sealed their fate. Rodin's work captures that single moment of bliss before everything fell apart, a fitting tribute to Francesca's own description of love's power to absolve none who are loved. Each time you see the kiss, you can almost feel the whirlwind of hell around them, yet there they remain, untouched by the chaos. Francesca and Paolo's story has inspired not only art, but also countless tales of doomed love in pop culture. Think of stories like Romeo and Juliet, where love leads to tragedy, or even modern tales like Twilight or Game of Thrones, where forbidden love brings danger. These stories echo the idea that passion can both elevate and destroy, a sentiment Dante captured perfectly through Francesca's haunting words. As Dante listens to Francesca, he's moved to the point of tears, gripped by her account of a love so powerful it defied even death. She speaks of the pain of remembering joy while in misery, saying, "There is no greater sorrow than to recall happiness in times of misery." Dante himself is torn between pity and horror. He's come to understand that hell is a place of justice, but Francesca's story stirs his heart. For her, that memory of happiness is what makes hell truly unbearable. Her words remind Dante of the intense bond that still binds her and Paolo, even as they suffer in endless punishment. This line is a universal truth that resonates with readers even today. It's the sorrow of loss, of knowing you had something precious, and knowing it's gone forever. This line has echoed through literature and even found its way into the philosophies of later writers and thinkers, including the 19th century poet Edgar Allan Poe, who explored the themes of memory, longing, and regret in his own haunting works. Dante himself is conflicted by Francesca's account. Here he is, walking through hell to learn about sin, yet Francesca's pain and her love for Paolo stir a deep sympathy within him. Her story challenges Dante's understanding of sin, compassion, and divine justice. She's committed adultery, yes, but her actions stemmed from a genuine connection, a real human love that feels almost sacred in its intensity. It's this tension that makes Francesca's story so compelling. On one hand, her punishment seems just. After all, she gave in to lust and betrayed her husband. But on the other hand, Dante's sympathy reflects the natural human tendency to forgive or understand those who act out of love. It's as if Dante, the character, still early in his journey, wrestles with a question that humanity has pondered for centuries. Can true love ever be a sin? Francesca's love, intense and pure as it was, had consequences that stretched beyond her and Paolo. When her husband discovered them, he killed them both in his rage. Francesca and Paolo are not just victims of lust, they're also victims of the jealous violence provoked by their affair. Here, Dante draws a line connecting love, sin, and the suffering it can bring, not just to the sinners, but to everyone around them. This complexity adds layers to Francesca's story. Her love for Paolo was beautiful, yet it was stolen, secretive, and ultimately deadly. Dante seems to ask his readers to consider the full picture of a sin. Is it the act itself that condemns a soul, or the consequences it unleashes? This contemplation makes Francesca's tale one of the most complex moral examinations in Inferno. The irony of Francesca and Paolo's fate is that, for them, hell might feel like both punishment and salvation. They are in torment, but they're together, swept along in a storm that in many ways symbolizes the all-consuming nature of their love. Francesca's words emphasize that she would not have survived hell if Paolo hadn't been by her side. The punishment Dante chooses for them, an endless whirlwind, serves as a perfect metaphor for their lives. Their love tossed them around, took them out of control, just as the wind now does. Dante's genius is in creating a punishment that reflects the very nature of each sin. Francesca and Paolo's story has inspired countless artists. Besides Rodin's The Kiss, Dante Gabriel Rossetti, a founder of the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood, was fascinated by their tale. In Rossetti's painting, Paolo and Francesca da Rimini, the couple leans towards each other in soft, muted tones. Rossetti captures the tenderness between the two and the tragedy of their love, making the painting feel like a visual echo of Dante's own sympathy for them. It's as if Francesca and Paolo have become icons of tragic love, representing the duality of passion and suffering that defines so many relationships. After hearing Francesca's tale, Dante is overwhelmed. He feels as though he's been swept into the storm himself. The weight of her story, the beauty and horror of it, are too much for him to bear. And in a moment of intense compassion and sorrow, Dante faints. He writes, "And I fell as a dead body falls." This line serves as a punctuation mark on the story, underscoring the emotional impact Francesca's words have on Dante. It's rare for him to react so strongly in Inferno, but Francesca's story has hit a nerve. It's a moment that draws readers in, making them feel as if they, too, are walking beside Dante, experiencing his journey firsthand. The story of Francesca and Paolo remains one of the most powerful narratives in Dante's Inferno. It's a love story, but one with a twist, a cautionary tale that challenges readers to examine the line between passion and recklessness, between love and sin. Francesca's words resonate with us because they tap into universal emotions: the longing for connection, the pain of loss, and the desire to remember our happiest moments, even in our darkest hours. In Francesca, Dante gave us not just a character, but an icon of tragic love, a figure whose story transcends time and speaks to the heart of what it means to be human. If this journey through love, tragedy, and timeless passion has resonated with you, remember to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore more stories that have left their mark on humanity's imagination.